and then other things happen in your life that in the end you're like, you know what? Hmm, I'm still here, and the world didn't end.
No, the world keeps
And
spinning.
it keeps spinning. And I mean, some of it also changed because I like died once. I woke up in the emergency room with the physicians pumping the air into me, pumping my
Oh, you
chest.
woke up on a table.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
So
Do
I
you
was,
remember anything?
um, I remember before I started going.
We didn't transition into this well at all, by the way. I'm gonna have to
I
add
know,
my. I'm gonna try to edit this, and I'm gonna be like, I have no idea what we started talking about. So we talked about it at some point. So she woke up
right?
on the table.
I woke up at
I'm like,
right,
whoa, wait a
exactly.
minute,
I'll
wait a
be
minute.
like,
I
what?
died once. I'm like, whoa, whoa, hold on. Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
did.
So,
I remember go before I went, was it thinking in my head, I need help. Something's not going right here. But I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. But my brain was like, hello.
okay. Did you get,
And
if you don't mind me asking, did you get diagnosed with like a stroke or something, or did you get?
no,
Oh, okay.
I had gotten out of a surgery and
Okay.
I didn't react well to the anesthesia.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
And so I just remember there was a couple people in the room, but they were kind of off doing their thing. And then I just remember I stopped breathing, and your brain is still kind of like telling you what's going on, and you're like, okay, this is not going to end well. And then that's all I remember. And then the
Hmm.
next thing I remember was waking up to my chest. I was like, why does my chest hurt so much? And somebody's pumping, and then they're pumping air into me with that.
Mm-hmm.
And and then I could hear them talking, saying, okay, we got a pulse. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So obviously the machines were like, hey, hello, she needs some help.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So yeah. Listen, I always get a chuckle. I'm sorry. George
yeah.
Lucas is here. Always like that. Always makes me laugh. Hey, George. And Bones like, yeah, that's scary, like a sleep paralysis. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
weird, and I've been doing a lot more radio interviews and a lot of phone interviews for most of my sort of career. And a lot of folks have, if not like a death experience or near death experience, where they have sort of these different things. And people understand that, the brain and the heart and your body and all these different things. What is fascinating what that will register though, because I'm sure you could close your eyes and have a very vivid image of this mask on your face with the giant plunger looking thing, and just
Yeah.
like it doesn't go away. That's a pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
I went through that, but I mean, I literally remember the time. It was like count backwards, and I remember this moment and this moment.
Right.
There's no gray to me. I remember I went to sleep at this moment, and I woke up at
Right.
this moment.
At
Those
this
two,
moment.
up to those points, maybe there's some gray, maybe a little bit
Right.
after that, but those two moments are very, very vivid.
I know. And because if somebody explain, if you try to explain to somebody what it's like being gone, you can't, because you cannot describe nothingness. You cannot describe it. There's absolutely nothing. There's you can't describe it as darkness. You can't describe it as quiet because it's so void that there's no explaining it. And I kind of remembered that when I had to have another surgery,
Mm,
and the doctor, the surgeon says to me, "You might want to sign your will before we do this
hmm.
because there's a slim chance that
Yeah.
you'll." He's saying there's a less chance that I'll make it and more of a chance that I won't. And I
Mm.
was like, "Oh my gosh, here we go again."
Well, you're high risk. That would be the
Yeah,
appropriate term to use. And by the way, Austin, we're going to put a pin in this because that's a whole story. We need to have you explain this story to us because you can't just throw this out there and have us all just continue to keep our. So we can't get into that right now because
right.
that just derails into, So, but yeah, right. So that you're going to have another surgery, they have to tell you that you're high risk. And now your fear factor, you've discussed several times already, your fear factor goes to a 12. Just like the needle just goes all the way over, right?
Yeah.
How on
Well,
earth was that journey? Because,
I
oof.
I mean, I had an idea because they told me, what the problem was, and they were like, he's like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't. And you'll either wake up and you'll have to have this on you for the rest of your life, or you're not going to wake up at all, or
Mm,
everything will be fine. But you might
right,
want to say goodbye to everybody. Saying, well, I'm like,
right, right.
oh, sheesh. So, I was by myself, very alone. I didn't have family, friends, nobody around me. And I was like, okay. So I just got ready for the surgery. I'm like, you know what? There's nothing you can do about it. Was I scared for a little bit? Yeah. But after a while, you just kind of let go and just realize that you have no control over it, and you're just gonna, whatever happens, happens. And I remember just being pushed into the surgery room. They put the drugs in me. I was gone. And
Mm,
then I remember waking up, coming to, and the first thing I did was start feeling myself to see if I had equipment or anything. I'm like, oh,
right.
I think I made it. So that, combination of all of that, plus several things that happened in my life over time that were not good. Um, I've gone through a lot, and
Yeah,
I
that's
have to
crazy.
say, I
See,
fought
this is
through
another look at
a
this
lot.
bone throwing out the story like this. How can we we're trying to focus over here. You people are throwing out these crazy stories that really
That's a
I
whole
can't have
nother
you.
Oprah show.
Yeah, it's another episode. Bones says one time I was driving, I fell asleep with my eyes open. I could see and think, but couldn't control the car, and I snapped out of it just before I went off the road.
Oh God.
Goodness, yes. And then this, so also when this is he was a child, okay.
Yeah. Oh God.
So yeah, wow,
Yeah.
that's goodness, yeah. I was in a car accident that flipped, and I for
Oh wow.
years had like the whole motion sensitivity thing. And I remember I was visiting my dad. I went on one of those. Remember the old carnival rides that looked like a giant centrifuge with like the
E-
gravitron, or I just spun you around,
Right.
and you stood against the wall and it kind of lifted you up. You know, that was it. That was the
Yes.
experience. And I got off this thing in like a cold sweat and the whole thing. And he didn't even know. He had no idea. He had no frame of reference at the time or whatever. And it was like, yeah, I have issues. I have serious issues. It took years before I'd ride a roller coaster that would turn me upside down and stuff like that. So we all have
Yeah.
these crazy life experiences and stories. So
Yeah.
thanks for sharing, because that's some stuff. That's some
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Hmm.
Awesome one's asking if I made it out alive. Uh,
Well,
yeah, yeah. I think I did.
she checked right away, awesome one. She
I
was checking
checked right
right
away.
away. She was
I was
checking right
checking.
away, doing inventory. What's going on? What I got to have? What do I still have, and what might I be missing? I got to make sure we inventory everything really quickly. I can
Yeah.
totally understand that experience, especially once you went through something that
Oh yeah.
is
I
that
found
sort
out
of
later.
big.
My sister, my when I woke up, my mom and my sister were there. And later on, my sister was telling me, "Oh my gosh, Maria, you were embarrassing us after you came out." And I'm like, "Why? What did I do?" You were you were telling us, "Did you see the surgeon? How gorgeous he was, and his big blue eyes. He's so dreamy."
Hot
And my
doctor.
sister's like, "He's standing right there." I was like, "Oh my god, I
Oh,
didn't
there it
know."
is. I didn't tease you because I knew if it did, you'd be self conscious about it. Marie has the cutest little snorts when she gets excited and laughs. It's so great. Well, she's a single snorter. My goal would be to like see if I can get her to go 3 or 4 in a row. That's my best. I love people
Oh,
who
that's
do. It's so
tragic.
awesome. It's no, it's not. It's amazing. I love it. I love it. This is the addiction that comedians must have. Is these little subtleties that go into things where you feel like
Oh
you were saying it
gosh.
earlier when you were talking about singing and connecting. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So
Oh yeah.
I love
I was always afraid to be singing and then laugh or something and then
start
snort in the
laughing.
middle of it. That would have just been,
Oh, it'd be
song's
great,
over.
especially in church. Especially in church, that
Song,
would have
yeah,
been the
song's
best.
over.
That would have been great.